allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, roll call, Mr. Fair.
Mr. Hayhurst.
Here.
Mrs. Boyer.
Here.
Mrs. Conley.
Here.
Mr. Edgar. Mr. Rambo.
Here.
Mr. D.
Here.
Mrs. Brown.
Here.
Mayor DePratis.
Here.
Mr. Wingrove.
Here.
Mrs. Wagner.
Here.
Robert Farrick is here, and Chief Curtazzo.
Here.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Fair. Next up is audience agenda, but seeing as we have no audience this evening, we will move on to the engineer's report with Mr. Sean Wingrove.
Madam President, thank you. Filling in for Jason this evening. Good to see everybody. Handful of quick updates on projects, and happy to answer questions that council may have. I think first item of significance, a lot of construction projects moving along the last month, so a lot of activity there. That'll be the bulk of the updates. The COA project with JetJack, we talked last month, issued a punch list letter to them. They were back in September. We did a follow-up review, issued a new punch list last week, the 7th, so down to a handful of items. 4 more segments that he lined. Clean up topsoil, but they're nearing completion there. This is whittling down. The next update, the other side of project Missionary Drive, the project that the authority awarded last month. We had pre-construction earlier today. That was held this morning with contractor Ranty. They indicated they think they're probably a month or so out. They'll start late November here. They'll start work there, but again, through the paperwork process, issue notice to proceed, that kind of thing, and we'll see some activity here through the winter for that project. See, page 5, MS4 report. So I think I talked a little bit last month, but at that point we were preparing the annual report to go in. It was submitted last week or so of September. Actually, we submitted it on the 30th, its due date. A great shakes there, like we talked before. You guys are in good shape. The department has started doing inspections again, so keep an eye out for those. But no real concern here. We think the borough's in good shape from an MS4 perspective. Randy may talk later here, but the 2024 road program, we worked with him and staff to button up remaining items from last year. Close that one out, looking towards final payment for action at the meeting next week. Road program for this year is moving along. I think give an update there. And a couple of bid openings. Lost my spot here. On page 8, we'll have McAnody Park improvements. If you recall, we opened that 2 months ago. This is the rebid. It'll open October 29th. So the last week of the month here, we'll have that for discussion at next month's meeting, and hopefully, fingers crossed, award this time next month. What you will have for action from a bid perspective next week is the borough building public safety improvements, so the fence here that was rebid. Do the bid report to the borough for consideration, so that'll be an action item for next Tuesday. And I think that's the big stuff that's in motion. Paul, help me out. Anything big that we missed?
No, I think you got it all.
Engineering perspective?
Yeah.
Okay, any questions for Mr. Wingrove? Oh, go ahead, Mr. Rambo.
Thank you, Madam President. Just 2 things. The 25 road programs, you said Randy's going to touch on that. Just kind of want to get an update. Okay, thank you. And on the public safety improvements here at the borough building, what was the budget for that?
The budget was $236,000. The bid came in at 170. Let me look. I got the exact number here.
That's what I thought it was significantly lower.
Well, 133, 140 was the base, and 17,600 was the alternate. So 150,700. So we're significantly under the bid.
Good. Yeah, that's fantastic. So waiting, helped a good deal.
Yeah, and also got us a quality bidder. Obviously we have the bidder qualification requirements, and they submitted all the information in, and some information that we were able to check a bunch of references on it and on them, and they've done space. Basically, they're out of Virginia, and this is their specialty, doing police and high visibility, stuff like that, for fencing for municipalities and other secure locations. So
Great.
everybody had nothing but good things to say about them. So I think we not only got a low bid, but we also got a quality contractor. We'll see during the construction process.
Good deal. And that budget, that was to come from the bond issuance that we did earlier this year? Those funds? Or
No,
it
that
kinda
was
split?
part of the capital improvement
That was part of the
project. Yeah,
CIP,
that was
okay.
in there.
Okay.
Yes.
Thanks, Sean. Thank you, Madam President. That's all I have.
Okay, thanks, Mr. Rubin. Thank you, Mr. Winger. Moving on then to the solicitor's report with Mrs. Wagner.
Thank you, Madam President. Just one item under my report tonight for the public portion of the meeting. I had been asked to get involved on an MMOU that we were doing with Whitehall. So my understanding is that the borough had applied for a grant for a municipal sanitary sewer project on Rear Leona Drive. The grant reviewers said that prior to the review, they wanted to see the MOU that would be between us and Whitehall. So Jason took a first stab at drafting that MOU. I revised it last week, I believe it was. Myself, Bob, and Jason got together to review the language. Everyone felt collectively that it looked good, but we wanted to get Whitehall's solicitor to get some eyes on it, just to make sure that he didn't have any revisions as well. So that's with him right now, and then the plan was, after he'd taken a look at it, that we'd have both councils take a look and hopefully come to final form after that. But it's in the works, and I expect that you'll see it, if not next week, certainly at the next agenda meeting.
Thank you.
Mrs. Wagner.
Thank you.
Okay. Any questions for Mrs. Wagner? Is that it?
That's all until the
Okay.
executive session.
Thank you, thank you. Moving on then to the mayor's report with Mayor DeFreitas.
Thank you, Madam President. I have nothing for this evening. I will give my report at next week's meeting.
Okay, can I just ask a question? Because I've been
Absolutely.
already getting it and seeing it. When is Halloween trick-or-treating gonna be?
What it always
That's
is.
what I figured. On Halloween from 6 to 8,
Halloween's
right?
Halloween.
Thank you. Okay, next is administration report with Mr. Fair.
Thank you, Madam President. I have a couple of items to go over. The first is, if you notice on item B under my report, there is the 2024 annual audit. We finally got that back from the auditors. That is attached for your reviews, but everything came out good. So we are, once again, good with that. Next item is also an item that's going to be a motion I'm looking for, and we do this every year. It seems like almost the day or two after we have our last meeting, we get the state pension allocation check from them, and we have 30 days to deposit it in, and it has to be also a resolution passed within that time frame. So if we wait till next week, we're not going to hit that deadline. So that's why it's on the agenda tonight. Resolution number 25-10-14. To be basically to allow us to put the monies in the proper checking account and move forward with what we've got from the state for our pension.
You want that motion
Audit.
now?
Yeah, sure, if you want to do that now. I'm looking for a motion to adopt resolution number 25-10-14, allocating the state aid pension fund received under Act 205 of the General Municipal Pension System State Aid Program.
So moved. Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second to adopt resolution number 2025-10-14, allocating state aid pension funds received under Act 205 of the General Municipal Pension System State Aid Program. Any questions on the motion? Okay, all those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, motion carries.
Okay, next I have, we're also gonna have a resolution next week for vacant property recovery program. That's through the county. Somebody can petition the county, they fill out a form, submit it to the county reviews it, submits it back to the borough. We have to send code enforcement out to look and make sure before they take over a vacant property that there isn't anything wrong with their property and all the paperwork is appropriate. And then it has to be passed as a resolution. Then we send it back to the county and they allocate the property back to them for the price that they have requested or said that they would be able to recover. This one, typically this happens when there's like a property with a house that is in severe disrepair next to somebody. They can petition to take it, and we've had a couple of those recently over the past couple of years. But this one is actually just vacant land, and it has a couple trees hanging over onto his property. It's a very small parcel. It's right off of Brentview Road. It's a wooded lot. It's I've got a picture of it here. I believe I can pass it around. I know one.
So this is a borough-owned lot?
No, it is not a
No.
borough-owned lot. If somebody else owns it, they do not maintain it. They've
Right.
have been sent several letters. They don't pay their
Back on
taxes on it
taxes,
through the
okay.
county, and that's why the county. But if you want to take a look and pass that down, that's the lot. It's basically a wooded lot that he was complaining the trees are hanging on. He can't get a hold of the property
It's not
owner.
Elliot's
He's just
yard.
afraid that they're gonna collapse on his property or onto his house. So he's petitioned for taking that over, and he's going to. And in the vacant property recovery, he has to say what he's going to do to the property. So he claimed he talks how he's going to cut the trees down, et cetera, that are in danger. It's just a formality. We did look through the application, and everything seems to be in order, and his property is in order. So that will be on your agenda next week for your consideration. Next, there's also ordinance number 938, repealing ordinance number 134-3 subsection B7. That has been advertised, and that will be on the agenda next week for your consideration of approving that ordinance. Remember, we discussed this last month in detail. So if there's any questions on that, happy to answer, or solicitor could weigh in as well. Next item is conditional use hearing. That will be on the agenda next week as well. That is for the Taco Bell property on 5301 Clareton Boulevard, that they're proposing to put a Taco Bell there. The conditional use is for a drive-through. The drive-through is not a typical use under our ordinance for that parcel, or for that zoning. But they do meet all the requirements for that, so that's why the conditional use. But that it has been advertised properly, posted, and so the hearing will be next week, and then you can make a motion, or you guys can all consider that for approval as well after the conditional use hearing. Any questions on that? Okay. Not last. Tri-community fire discussions. We did not have a meeting this past month. Our next meeting is scheduled for October 30th at 6:30 p.m. at Brentwood Borough Building. So we'll hopefully have something to report next month after that meeting. PA House Bill 1291. That's basically allowing legal advertising options for municipalities, i.e. On our websites and digital advertising. That is in the process right now. It went through the committees. Hopefully that's going to get passed, and then it'll go to the Senate. And then if the Senate approves it, then it goes to the governor for hopefully approval, and we'll be able to take a little bit of expenses out of our. That's a pretty hefty.
It's a hefty one, yeah.
It's getting, and actually the gentleman that was in charge of it, he's from Eastern PA. He actually emailed me, and I don't know how many other municipalities wanted to know if we had the ability to give him our costs of what we've incurred, not in 2025 because it's not over yet, but in 2024. So I provide him that information, and he thanked me with an email back after I sent it to him. So hopefully that was, they're taking the information and showing, hey, look, this is what we're, some of our smaller, ones aren't so bad, but everyone that Sean just mentioned that we've, all these projects, they're very lengthy, and we have to advertise them twice. We're typically at $1,200 to $1,400 for advertising for one project. And, if we end up rejecting bids and having to have to re-advertise, it's a pretty penny that we've been putting out for advertising. So I'm hoping that gets through. So if you ever see any of the state legislators, please tell them that you're all for that bill passing. If you ever see anybody. The log cabin's still waiting to hear. I haven't gotten anything back from that gentleman. I want to bring up one other item, two items, but the one is Community Day. We always have it the second. We've been having it the second Saturday, June 13th. If everybody remembers, this will be the 250th anniversary of the United States formation, and there was a time capsule was buried on the 200th, and it's out front, and it was supposed to be opened on, and it has a plaque on it, and it says to be opened on, and they got a very specific date. It says June 12th, 2026. And it was, I hope Mary Ann could help out here. It was donated by or dedicated by the Women's Club. I was hoping we could push it to, I don't know if somebody, because there was no digital calendars back in 1976, I guess somebody kind of was, because it seemed back then, Community Day was always on the second Saturday, so maybe somebody just miscalculated and missed a leap year or something, but I'd like to do the opening on that Saturday is one of the grand events at the.
What date would that be then?
The 13th.
13th.
Just the next day,
One
that's
day.
all. Yeah, so I figured one day isn't gonna,
Yeah.
create any havoc, I would hope. But the other question is, Randy and I, when we were looking at it, it was, does anybody know, is it completely encapsulated in concrete? Do we have to have jackhammers, running to get this out, or is it just a concrete slab over top and we could just slide that? Does anybody have any idea how that was?
I can only think of one person who might know, Doris. She's the only one that might know.
They didn't leave directions?
I was gonna reach out to former Mayor Bennett.
Yeah, Sandy
See
Bennett
if
may know.
Sandy
See if
might
he
know.
see if
That's
he
what I was
might
gonna
know.
say.
That's
Just
still
to-
even before his time.
Just
though.
for
Well, he
logistics,
was on
we
the
don't wanna
police
be out there,
department then.
you know.
He was around, his dad was on council
Yeah.
then.
I mean, I would like to make that the signature start,
would be
as we open up the capsule to start off.
This is
Community
better
Day.
than Mayberry.
Yeah,
Yeah.
there you go. So, but we don't wanna be out there with, all right, give us another 3 hours, we gotta jackhammer through all this
Yeah.
concrete,
Let me contact Doris.
so.
You got the
She
shovel,
may
it
know.
doesn't work, then
If
you got
anybody,
the
she'll
pick.
know.
So,
Oh.
if anybody has
I
any
remember
information,
back
and like I
then.
said, I'll also reach out to,
She's our historian, yeah.
lastly.
What year was it buried?
76.
76.
Yeah.
Before you were born, Elliot.
Very good.
Last
I
item.
was 15, almost 16.
I was a youngster.
Me too.
I actually was part of when I went to St. Michael's in Homestead, and we had a capsule we buried out there, and I put some stuff in there, and I have a picture of me in the valley mirror putting whatever it was in there.
I hope it wasn't a hand grenade.
That's
No, I think what I put in there was, I think I put a box of those little Frosted Flakes. Remember the?
Yeah.
I'm sure those are really nice now.
Yeah.
So.
That's pretty neat.
Hopefully we don't have any of that in this one.
Yeah.
The last item I'm looking for is dates for the budget talks.
I knew that was
So
coming.
if anybody has any bad dates, I will email everybody out. And if you could please just email individually back whether they're good or bad for you.
Okay.
But I want to get 3 dates in November. Starting probably around November. Well, let's see. First is a Saturday. So probably that. Well, we can't do the 4th, so we'll have to hanker around some of those dates to get 3 dates in before the end.
Mondays and Tuesdays aren't good for you, Butch?
Mondays are bad. Wednesdays are bad for me.
So no Mondays, no Wednesdays.
Mondays, Thursdays.
Thursday's not good for me.
Oh, geez, Monday, Wednesday, Thursday. Okay.
Yeah, I know
After
why.
church on Sunday.
So
Can we do
if we,
Tuesdays?
Well, we'd have 2 Tuesdays. We have a meeting.
if we pick
Well,
up.
no, because the one meeting we're having, because the second or the 11th is Veterans Day, so we moved the meeting to the 10th. We could meet on the 11th. That'd be silly. We moved the meeting so that we could have a meeting.
Yeah.
I'm good Monday, November 24th, Thanksgiving week. We're off. CCAC, is that your break, Aaron?
I guess, yeah,
Yeah,
probably is.
it's Thanksgiving's a CCAC break.
All right, so we'll try maybe that'll be our 3rd meeting. I'd like to do 2 somewhere before.
And
that.
if we have a Monday or a Wednesday, if we could do like we did in the past, push it to 7:30, I'll try and leave school at 7 or
Okay,
as early as I can.
7:30.
Yeah, no classes that whole week.
Okay.
All right.
All right, so we'll try, Monday, Wednesday, 7:30, and then the 24th we'll do at 7. Everybody good for that date?
Yeah.
What Monday?
No, I gotta pick,
Oh, okay.
some Mondays.
All right, okay. Just send, you're gonna send.
Yep,
an
yeah, I'll
email.
send an email.
Yeah,
I just wanted to get, before we send out, oh, that's no good, that's no good, that's no good. So
Yeah, right.
I want to get through all those. Other than that, Madam President, unless anybody has any questions, I have nothing else on my report.
Okay, any questions for Mr. Fair? Okay, thank you. Moving on then to Public Works with Mr. Rambo. Oh, I'm sorry, I skipped Finance. Finance with Mr. Hayhurst, I'm sorry.
I've done this
Sorry,
before.
thank you, Madam President. Based on a recent financial report, everyone's seen it, we are, from a property tax collection perspective, we're at 97.5%. So we're looking very good there. Earned income tax, we're at 78, about 78.5%. The real estate transfer taxes, we had budgeted $250,000 as potential revenue for this year. We're at $222,605.94. We have a likelihood of surpassing that as we stand today. And that's good news. Total revenues right now, collected against budget, we're at about 91%. From an expenditures perspective, we're at about a little over 75% of expenditures have already come in. There's gonna be some road and bridges stuff that's gonna hit relatively soon. Randy will probably talk further about that. Garbage, we're at about $1.5 million in expenditures so far, so it's about 61% of the budget. Fire, we're at about 93%, so total, like I said, total expenditures are about a little over 75%. From a sewer funds perspective, the Alcoasand grant came in, it's $394,000, excuse me. The sewer bills were at about 74%, basically 75%, so we're right on track for the year. Expenditures on the sewer funds, we are exceeded the Alcoasand regionalization one. It's a relatively small number in the budget, about 16.5. We're 24.6, so we're a little bit over on that. Alcoasand sewer numbers were at about 72, a little over, just about 73%. And that's about it for this meeting. If anybody has any questions, I'll entertain those questions. If not, we'll have a little more next week. So.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Hayhurst.
Thank you, Madam President.
Moving on then to Public Works with Mr. Rambo.
Thank you, Madam President. I will give my monthly report at next week's meeting, and I'll defer to Mr. Lubin.
Thank you. Good evening, everybody. A little bit of housekeeping for tonight. For the 2024 road program, as Sean indicated, we did finally get the punch list items that they went through, and they did identify, they notified me and submitted the final pay app for the 2024 road program. That's from Ayla Garoni. And so that is under review right now. So anticipate for next week's meeting in the amount of a little north of $21,490.48. That'll close out the 2024 road program. For the 2025 road program, we have two contractors, if you recall. Actually, there was three. It was a rejuvenation project, but that's been done. But the one is Independent Enterprises. They did the area of around 5th and 6th Street down in that area. That's Kelly Alley, Vine Street, Valdesari, 5th and 6th. That particular project was completed with the top on Saturday, this past Saturday. So we just have a small walkthrough that we'll do. We're going to have and go through any punch list items that might be there. Nothing major there, the exception of there were several Pennsylvania American water breaks during the last 3 weeks down there. So we don't know. We did coordinate with Pennsylvania American Water, which is why we held off till Saturday of last week to do the final paving, because they found another break. So while we try to coordinate them, they do coordinate with them. They are aware that the water lines down there are a little bit older. And I guess my purpose is to say it's not uncommon that when you go in and do milling and paving, with older lines in the area, it's not uncommon for water lines to break or rupture or crack. So while we've done everything we could, we put out a notification early in the year about what we're doing, where we're doing it. We notify utilities. If there's a water breakdown there and they rip up new roads and any of the constituents were to say, you know, hey, why'd you just do this? You just repave the road, now there's water breaks. Don't you guys coordinate? We do. We try to coordinate. We do notify. I'm just letting you know that it could be possible that another break could occur even though we are done with final paving.
Put a
That's my
40-ton
shtick
mill
about
machine
that.
on there and it vibrates the road, you know, and you got old lines, they're gonna probably break some of them.
Yeah, I mean, there's nothing we can do about that. They're underground, their infrastructure's old, they know it is, they're aware of it. So, but they would be responsible to repave and restore the areas once there was a break, or if there was a break, and it was to interfere with the roadway and not just the yards, they would be responsible to repave our roads. So, it's kinda like, you hope it doesn't happen, but if it does, you know, there's that insurance policy as well. But you hate to, because it just looks like you didn't coordinate, you know, that's just, looked like the egg on the face scenario. With the other contractor, which is A. Liberoni, right now they're doing, finishing up on the south end, which they did the milling, and they did a lot of the binder work. We were hoping that they would come back to the north end because they started that about a month ago between the milling, the catch basin work, the curb removals, and they put the binder in, and then they went over to the south end. So, and plus some other jobs they had. We were hoping they would have been back here by now. Our original schedule was they were supposed to be here Friday or Monday, this past Monday, but they aren't, so they decided to stay over in the south end, finish that, and they will come back to this end to put the top in.
Randy, who's doing senior there?
Senior Drive is Liberoni.
Okay, they just finished that today.
Binder,
Just bind?
yeah, the binder.
Okay.
Yeah, they had to put in we captured a spring line there, so we put in some storm drainage.
Yeah.
And they took out the curbing and catch basin work, put the storm line in to capture that, and then today was binder. So, once they're done with the bindering in that area, then they'll start doing the top. Since the equipment's there, that's why they didn't want to piggyback over here. But at any rate, once they finish that, they'll head back over here to finish that. So I know we've had, especially us around here with the church view aspect, right here, and it's all in our view. You know, we would have preferred it the other way, but unfortunately that owner tells their crews what to do, and, you know, we try to make it right, we try to tell them what we think's right, but sometimes we don't always win that argument, so.
So a
but they
couple
will be
weeks
back.
then?
Yeah,
out there?
they actually, Patty, they should be here, I don't wanna say by the end of this week,
Oh.
I'll safely say next week,
Gotcha.
should be, there should be no reason they shouldn't.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, so that's a little bit about the 2025 road program. And also, the one last thing is that Liberty did put in payout number 1, it's under review with engineering, and so anticipate that request for a motion to pay for next week, and that's just north of $320,000. So to your real quick, Paul, about how much those numbers are gonna be.
On top of, we got about 500,000 coming from, the, sanitary project, and, another, what'd you say, 20,000, so it's gonna be close to $1 million worth of, money's
Bills.
going in.
The sanitary project was also independent enterprises, they have a couple different, facilities under they do a couple different things. For the O&M, we started to review some areas for next year, for 2026 for the budget, and Mrs. Wagner already identified you that she's working on the MOU with Whitehall. That is one of the aspects, there'll be on the drive one is under the O&M, and we're looking under some other ones that we've done some recent CCTV work this year, and have identified some problem pipe that we should probably get a handle on for next year. We're trying to prioritize that and go through it and make sense with the budget monies and how much we can get done.
Sorry, I'm wrong, that wasn't sanitary, that's the pool, that was the gutters for the pool.
See, you mislead me.
But still, it's $500,000.
Yeah, the pool one is what?
The number's right, it's just the wrong
480.
project.
I think the pool was 480, yeah, you're
The
correct.
number's not changing.
See, if you wouldn't said it, we can buy this and you but it is the pool, and that's from Shiloh, by the way. I'll clean up his.
I already did.
under some of the utility work, I mean, some of it you see going on, you know, as we've all been seeing for quite a while. The only new item I wanted to just bring to the board's attention tonight was, if you recall, a couple of years ago, this kind of dovetails back to the Churchview paving project. If you recall, a couple of years ago, we held off on trying to do Churchview because we were notified from Columbia Gas that they were gonna do some gas line replacement in this area. So we try to do our due diligence and try to be fiduciaries of the monies and say, okay, we're gonna hold off on this. Let's just see what they do, what they have to do, so we don't have egg on our face. So we don't pave a road and then they come in a month later and start tearing it up. That all went by the wayside. That project kind of went still, went into their hopper somewhere. So we moved forward recently in the last 2 years with continuing doing some work on Churchview. Lo and behold, we go in there and do the binder, and we get a notification from Columbia Gas that they've decided to resurrect that project that they shelved a couple years ago. However, the good news is, the project limits are from Marianne to beyond the village's entrance. So it doesn't interfere with the
Right
work
where
that
we
do.
stop, look at that.
So it's right, kind of right where we stopped, which is what we planned all along.
Yeah.
Yeah, there you go.
So, anyway, that's a little bit about that, but yeah, that project is slated for 2026, early 2026, probably spring. I wanted to bring that to your attention. Moving on, a couple other small notes here. Nothing there, nothing there. For the pole, I don't know if anybody's seen it in the last few days. The railings are in. Most of the zero entry is done. The next and final pour for the concrete for the zero entry is slated for tomorrow. So all of the interior pole concrete pours for the ramping, the zero entry, the steps, things of that nature will all be completed by tomorrow afternoon. Next on the run is the liner. And once they come, they also did the patching of the existing floor. They did some patchwork and prep work for the liner. And so next the liner goes in, and once the liner goes in, then we will start with a filling of the pool to do a soft opening to make sure that all of our, the pumps and the boilers and everything is working and there's no leaks.
November 1, pool open. Ooh.
Rank that either.
Yeah.
Well, we did have a schedule. It's in motion. It's already changed as of, actually, as early as today, it's changed again. So we hope to have the liner installed within the next few weeks before the end of the month, and then start filling the pool if the weather permits, you know. And if not, I mean, then the worst case scenario is we'd have to do it in the spring. If like the weather went south and cold right away, then we would adjust what we'd have to do.
We've got
But-
a heater, try the heater anyway.
Yeah, we do have a giant heater, yeah.
How much does that set back the schedule if we would have to wait until spring?
It doesn't set the schedule back as far as what we wanted to do. I mean, we wanted to get it done so that they could then, the Shiloh company can go and just finish all the concrete decking around the
Right.
top of the pool.
Sure.
Because once they cover that, if by chance, in the unforeseen,
Leak.
I guess that.
then
yeah,
they have
right.
to rip the new concrete up to
Right,
go
right.
fix something.
Yeah.
And that's what we were trying to prevent, making sure all the
I got
apparatus
it.
works.
Yeah.
So as long as they come in and we do get the liner installed within a reasonable amount over the next few weeks, we should be okay. But the plan has changed already, like this was the second time, I believe, and the date has sort of shifted on us. So hopefully this was the last time though. I mean, we know where they're at and we know where they're working, and they did have some weather issues this past week from the system that was up and down the northeast coast. So we do know that it's not like they're making it up, but we're the brunt of it. We're gonna be delayed a few more days than we thought. Any questions on the pool at all from that little description? Okay. We had those 2 trucks, if you all recall. We finally got one delivered the end of September, so the one new one is here, ready to go, looks good. The second truck, the 2026 Hill International, which those are the larger ones, the 8-tonners, that we're supposed to receive that by early November. Again, I think that's a little bit of a moving target. It's actually at our outfitter for the spreader and the hydraulics and plow hoist things. So that should be here by mid-November. I guess all in all, if all goes well, we will be fine for the large trucks for the winter season, with a backup already in place. If case something was to go down with any of the 5 larger ones that we currently use, there's also a backup in case one of them would go down of a couple of the older 5-tonners. So that's good news. Finally, we're moving on that. We have held our budget meetings with team leadership for the 2026 budget, and we try to keep things in line as far as what do we need to have versus what would be nice to have in the operations.
but we all ultimately want to try to get things that make sense for us, provide us, equipment that make us work more efficiently and more safely. So I can buy into those things, but we have done those reviews in-house and with the team leadership for the DW, for the foreman, and some input from their staff as well. And lastly, just a quick little municipal bid update. We had those vehicles on the municipal bid site for the last 2 months, August and September. Pleased to announce that we did sell the old trailer. We sold 4 Ford Explorers, and that totaled about $38,700 that we got, which typically when you traded them in before, those weren't the numbers you were getting. You were getting a very low number, a couple thousand maybe for a vehicle. So we that's a good thing. The only one that I was shocked of is we also have a 2013 Hill International that's got the plow and it's got the spreader. And I've seen those go over the last couple of years for a pretty good resale value on an auction site. And we had it there, and unfortunately, it didn't meet our expectations. It didn't meet the reserve price, so we pulled it after it expired. And I waited about a week or two, and I just recently put it back on, and hopefully this time around, we'll get a better result. And if we don't, I think we'll still hold on to it just to, September was the good month from my history that I was looking at. Those are when those trucks were going, but it just didn't go this time around for whatever reason. And with that concludes my report, Madam President, and I'll be happy to answer any other questions.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Lubin. Any questions for him? Okay.
Nice. Good
Perfect.
report. Yeah, good report.
So we will move on to Parks and Recreation with Mrs. Boyer.
Thank you, Madam President. I have nothing this month, but I'd like to have Dodd give his report.
Nice report.
Yeah.
Very nice report.
Thank you. So, starting off this month was the Family Fun Fest, and we had a really good turnout for the library's fundraiser. First responders, there were some nice people there. I did write up for the In Community magazine. I took some pictures as well. I believe Bob is passing around the pictures. And I also teamed up with our fire department and did a holiday safety article that kind of highlights the big things that they see all the time and how to prevent those. Dave Conley was great in working with him, and we do plan on doing a more expanded view in the future of like showcasing the volunteers themselves, just to show that they're more than volunteer firefighters. They have all these separate lives and things like that. The fellows have been really open and really excited about the project.
Good idea.
So coming up on Saturday is the trunk or treat. Public Works was great. They built our giant cauldron of treats that we will release all our treats at the end of the trunk or treat. The Women's Club was generous enough to donate funds to help fund that. I also secured some donations from a collaborator show. They took the collection. Promotion's underway. There's strong engagement. We're hoping for a good turnout. We have numerous organizations that are partnering with us to come and host trunks. It would be great to see some of the council members there. I know the mayor said he was out of town, but that would be nice to have somebody there. And that should be good. I know that you folks started this last year, so we're still building on that momentum, and hopefully it just keeps getting bigger and bigger. The nice thing about the Cauldron of Treats, now that it's built, is when we use it, we disassemble it, and it doesn't cost anything except putting it back together for next year. So about halfway through September, I took over the borough's social media outside of announcements, and there's just a quick report. With social media nowadays, you have to beat the algorithm, and just posting all the time is beating the algorithm. So these numbers aren't wrong. They are very large in our engagement and things like that. The things that have outperformed everything else are the pool pictures, events, things like that, but I'm getting engagement from everywhere. And I sat down with Bob and Kelly and pitched a social media strategy that's broken down on by quarter, focusing around events and things that are going on.
and I hope to keep the growth continuing.
Very good.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Very good.
If there's,
Great report, too.
thank you, thank you.
Very thorough.
That concludes my report unless there's any questions.
Any other
That's great,
questions?
thank you very much.
Very good.
Really good.
Thank you for the awesome report. Moving on to zoning and planning with Mr. Egger, but he is not here, so hopefully next week he can give his report.
I could note, though, that there is no planning commission or zoning hearing board meetings this month.
Thank you for that. Up next is public safety with Mr. D.
I just have two very brief things. I'll give my full report next week, mainly just because of the way the meetings work. And the fire company, Dave Connell and Mark Scheib, will come to the regular meetings along with Brian McCaffrey from Baldwin EMS. So next year, Baldwin EMS ordered 2 new ambulances. So they're going to dedicate one to Bill Plunkett, the other
Oh, isn't that wonderful?
one to Ernie Vadamo.
Yeah.
This will be a sample seal. I'll pass it around if everybody wants to look. Ernie will have one very similar, so one ambulance, and then they're gonna plan an open house around the
Nice.
new ambulances and the dedication and everything, so we'll get more info on that. The only thing, I attended Bowen EMS's, I'm on the finance committee because I'm their treasurer, which is like an oxymoron to me being the treasurer, but at any rate, with that being said, investments look really, really good. Their investment guys really, and Bill Plunkett and Ernie and the past people there really positioned the organization really nice. But they have a couple capital improvement things on the agenda, and they want to replace their rescue truck. They're looking somewhere between $1.5 to $2 million that they're looking at, and some capital stuff that they're going to need to do. And what they would like for us to consider is in 2026, they would like, apparently they've met with Nick Piscatano's office, and he really advised, their office advised them to go after some DCED grants. But they say that you need your municipality to apply for them so that you can gain some horsepower and some traction. And so they wanted to know if they want to go to each municipality, all 6 in their organization, to see if each municipality would be willing to, they'll do all the legwork, do it all, if we could just put our name on the grant. And also they, Senator Piscatano said like Shaycog could have a lot of traction in helping get some grants. So I just wanted to introduce that tonight, more on that next week, but I just wanted to get a little rally started for us to consider this, to see if this is possible. So we would probably think to start that process next August. September is when we would put them in, so the grants wouldn't occur till 2027. So, but more next week, because Brian will be there and the fire department will be there. So if we could just, all I wanted to do was introduce that one concept tonight for us to think about moving forward.
Yeah.
Okay?
Bob, how regularly, or I guess, how many projects do we typically submit to DCD? Because we usually always put our hat in the ring, right?
Yeah, it depends on, I mean, we submit to this, but they're all tied to DCED.
Right.
So, yeah,
And
I mean.
they said there would be, from what they told Nick Piscatano, it would not hurt any of our applications. Like you could apply for tens of those or 20 of them.
It
So
should.
it wouldn't hurt. It's all like some of the things that they would look at to see, you know, like what would make sense. It wouldn't be like, oh, we're giving Baldwin EMS this, Baldwin Borough wouldn't get it. That's,
Yeah, no, I'm not
So-
opposed to it
Yeah.
at all. I think that just being strategic with it.
yes.
Right, because, you know, sometimes.
Yeah, and they would only ask us to do one.
Right,
They're gonna ask each of the other municipalities to do
right,
one.
right.
Yeah, we just have to do the typical, we'd have to do a resolution.
Yeah.
In support of it, et cetera, et cetera. But, is, you know, it depends on what they're, if we're applying for, you know, if there's a pot of money for X and we've applied for that, you know, they're probably gonna look at that and they would just say, all right, well, Baldwin, we could give you, $100,000 just to say you would get 50 for this one and 50 for that if it's the same.
And that's what it is, kind of balancing, right,
Right.
the
Yeah.
needs that we have in EMS and I think fire as well, I mean, you know, right, so, no, it's an interesting concept, yeah, I think
Yeah.
it's something we should explore. But, again, keeping in mind, we have needs too, right?
Oh, yeah.
You know,
Yep.
Okay, anything else?
That's all I have for tonight.
Okay.
I'll have my full report next week.
Thank you, Mr. D. Moving on then to personnel with Mrs. Conley.
Thank you, Madam President. Tonight, I do not have anything.
Thank you very much.
Doesn't mean that I won't next week. That's the end of my report.
Next up is audience agenda, but seeing as how we have no.
I want to say one thing.
Kelly has something.
I just wanted to give a pat on the back to Erin as well, because she did help with the cauldron, and
Yes.
she
She
did do all the
did.
crafts and the painting and everything, so.
But why is she in
Artsy.
timeout tonight, though?
This is what I find out. Ooh.
It's the hot topic.
Randy had the brainchild with it though, so gotta give him that.
What's it look like? I'd love to see. Do you have anyone have a picture of it, or do you?
You have a picture?
I
We got pass her phone around, get all her
Oh, look, you put on the
contacts.
projector there, Randy.
Here's the,
Shh, keep it under wraps, it's gonna be a surprise on Saturday.
it's about 3 feet high by
Oh, that's cool.
inside the basket.
In our in-house
Oh,
room,
that's
right?
cool.
Yeah.
That's up that 4 feet high. Very nice.
Or, 4 feet high, whatever.
Oh, that's cute.
And then there's a bin in there.
So the
Bins
candy
on a
goes
thing.
in there, and then the
Dump it.
kids go around it, and then,
Tips.
or Dom has his ideas how this is all gonna,
Whoops.
play out.
Which one
but
was
yeah,
it?
but it's
This
just
one?
a
Right
big-
like that.
which is.
There you go,
there
Oh,
yeah.
that's cute.
Oh, that's nice.
So it's just a cauldron.
Kinda like
That's a good idea. We
get
came
up
up
with
with.
the
Yeah,
beer.
yeah,
Cool.
that's great.
Very
You can
And
use
it's
the
got,
other
and it
one.
actually has a slide.
Very nice,
Where it
Aaron.
shoots, so
Very
that
nice.
when they dump it, it'll just
Oh,
slide.
nice.
So,
Yeah.
Well, that'll be exciting. I'll miss it though. Okay, so moving on then to the executive session, so I need a motion to
Go into
go
executive, so
into
moved.
executive, thank you. We have a motion and a
Sorry.
second to go into executive session, and we will not be returning to the regular meeting. So we'll take like a 5-minute recess. All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. See you in 5 minutes.
Who do you need, Bob?
Something's right.
just Randy.
I won't be able to make it, Saturday. I'm out of town too, but.
Yeah,
Oh, you
I
did
can't either. We have lacrosse
I'll be there
tournament all
for
day.
Yeah, definitely.
I would love to come.
Take
I
a
would love to
video
bring
when
the
you
kids.
pop
You're
down.
kidding.
I
I
do.
think